There's no theme in this deck.
There's none at all. So
It's a little bit of it, and then it's just miscellaneous.
yeah, I see.
A lot of these cards yeah, that's when the majority of these
Take a look at the front board.
That's my favorite.
Even if you received 100 on the quiz, pay attention because there's little details that I will take off for on the test. I didn't mark off for everything on the quiz. If you had the correct answer and you gave me a complete sentence, you probably got full credit, which was 50 out of 50 for each problem. On the test, I'm going to need to see a little bit more. Where am I shading if that's my first diagonal inequality? Down or up for this one? This was down. I don't necessarily show the shading. I might just do something like this. Might just throw in a couple arrows to show that direction. And you don't need to do this, but I immediately know that this is no good above this. I still have people who are shading in the wrong direction. If it's less than, make sure you're shading down or to the left. I also have two constraints. One was x greater than 2. Yes. Here's a constraint, and I'm going in this direction. But I'm not going to go out here because I already know that this is no good. I'm competing against a lot of conversations. We had a lot of haves and have-nots on this quiz. We had 90s and 100s, and then we had 50s and 60s. Everybody can get 100 the next time around, which will be not this Wednesday, but probably next Wednesday. What day is today? Tuesday?
Today is
You'll have a quiz on Thursday, which we'll go over in a second. Then I will see you. Then I will see you on Monday. We'll do a review, and then Wednesday will be your first big test. And I'm shading up from here. I'm noticing that I'm getting a conjunction of everything right in here. Here's what I want to see on the test. Take a look. Even if you got 100, did you plot these points for me and tell me what they were? Did you actually write down 2 ants? Did you write down 6, 4, and 2, 4? That's all I required. I needed to see a complete sentence explaining what was being asked for. All it said was find the maximum value. That's the maximum value, yes.
You said people were making the mistake of putting the wrong answer in that's right.
Say that again.
He said if people were writing down the answer wrong.
They'd have 38 and they'd write 28 here.
Oh, okay.
Just simple transfer of information errors. If you have specific questions, If you have specific questions about your problems, wait until after we're done with the probability answers, you know, on our agenda. I'll still have probably 15 minutes left, so I can look at individual problems. Do you have any questions about what just happened here? Why we're shading in this area? We're shading down to the right and up, but we can't go beyond this. That's therefore the unhappy faces up there. Second one, you had to create the information. I start with this. Maximum profit. If we're talking about profit, what are we talking about? If I get a number from this, what units do you have for that number? Dollars, thank you. So this is dollars, therefore anything that mentions dollars up here is probably part of this equation. The only thing that I see involving money is right there. I called this X and Y. Since I called it that, I should declare it. I want to see your declaration on the test. If you did not declare your variables, do that on the test. All you have to do is say something like let X equal number of hamburgers. Let Y equal number of hot dogs. That is your maximization, minimization equation. You don't graph that. Some of you are graphing that. That's the equation. The only thing you're going to be graphing is inequalities. I see an X plus Y less than 90. They said you can only make 90 of everything. There's one inequality. I see you cannot cook more than 40 hamburgers. You cannot cook more than 70 hot dogs. Those should be your constraints. Check and see. Did you try to mush them all together and make a giant inequality? Those should have been separate ideas. What does this look like? Some of you are trying to squash your graph into the smallest space possible. You want the biggest space possible. That's why I spread this out going by 5s for every single little tick mark. The bigger it is, the easier it is to see your corner points or boundary points. We want from 90 to 90. Here. Down to here. And where am I shading in this case? Above it or below it? So you know this whole area out here is no good. You're now confining all of your focus down here. We also have less than 40 or X. It's less than, so I'm going in this direction. I already know I'm going this way. So now I know this is no good. If this helps you, do that. And we want less than 70 for the Y. Close enough. And we want less than, so we're going down, which means all of this space is no good. How many of you thought this triangle was your feasibility region? Just because you have a triangle doesn't mean you use it. This is your feasibility region right here. From here to here to here, all the way down. I've got 5 border points. I need to use this to maximize the profit. Which one maximizes my profit? 20 and 70? I needed to see this. I need a complete sentence or 2. You had 2 questions on this problem. How many of each, and then what is the maximum profit? If there are units, I want to see the units. Any little detail that's left out on the test, you're going to get something deducted. So 20 hamburgers, not just 20, 70. 70 hot dogs, profit 129.
For senior variables.
Can you put a let?
Will you have to put that?
The amount of profit I'm getting,
This, please.
give me a let. Bring it up when we're completely done. All right? If you have questions on specifics about your quiz, wait till the very end. This is what the next quiz looks like.
Hey, I turn on my computer.
I'm done.